Hi, welcome to the Rittners Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The time of the year, it's winter. It's past Christmas. We're looking for designing that's seasonally appropriate, but feels like it could be Christmassy, but not really Christmassy. Well, I've got a neat demonstration plan for you. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Now, I know I say that all the time, but I really mean it. Because you guys know that Dr. Steve generally loves branchy stuff. Well, this is like branchy stuff on steroids. This stuff is called Winterberry, and it's available this time of the year. It is really pretty stuff. You can do some really cool things from a design point of view. The only negative on it, well, keep it away from pets and kids. It's toxic. So you don't want it to be used for anything outside of pretty things, ornamental purposes only. But this stuff you can do some really cool things with, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy how we handle it today. I'm going to start off with this Winterberry, and we're going to come up with a really cool effect. We've got a container, we've got some foam wedged into it, some mercury glass, and let's make a lovely design using this. And I'm going to start off, and you can see I'm really going to feature our Winterberry, and the Winterberry is really showy. I mean, it doesn't take much of this stuff to come up with a really cool effect. So I'm taking some Winterberry, I'm placing a second piece in front of the first. In other words, I'm really making use of this as a major design element. And you can see that it doesn't take a whole lot of this stuff to come up with a really neat effect. Now I'm going to take another piece of my Winterberry, and I'm cutting it down a bit, and I'm going to place this over on the side. I love this stuff because you get all of the goodness of branchy stuff, and you get all of these neat berries in it as well. And that really gives a very neat kind of an effect. Let's add a little bit more of this. I mean, you just can't go wrong. This stuff practically designs itself. So notice, I'm going to take another piece and place it over here. So I'm using this to come up with something that I think you guys are going to find kind of interesting and kind of cool. Let's work a few more over onto the other side of the design. We played a little on this side. Let's place something over here. And I think you can see, my viewer, how this is really coming out in an interesting way. And so far, all I played with is just a few of my berries. Let's take a smaller one and place it over here. And notice we've got something interesting going on there. Now, I could continue just designing with the Winterberries themselves, but let's play with something else. I'm going to add another flower. You guys all know it, Bells of Ireland. Let's take some of our Bells of Ireland and work something in with the Bells of Ireland. And notice I've got something coming up over along that side. I'm going to take another one of my Bells of Ireland. I'm going to place it, cutting it down a little bit, and placing it over here so that I'm using the play between my Winterberries and my Bells of Ireland to come up with something rather interesting. Now, what else can I do? Well, I can take another piece and work it over here. So this comes into this spot over here. In other words, I'm designing my pieces of my Bells of Ireland around and through it. And you can see by doing it this way, we're coming up with something that I think is a little bit different. And it really seems to be an interesting combination. Let's take another piece and work it over here. And I'm using smaller pieces of my Bells of Ireland in order to do that. And then I'm going to take but another piece and work it over here. So I think you can see, my viewer, I'm playing with almost like two different things in one. I'm playing with the Winterberries here. I'm playing with the Bells of Ireland over here. I'm going to add just a little bit, touch more of my Winterberries. I have a small piece. I might as well work that over here just for interest. So I've got that there. Now, so far I'm working from the extremities. I'm coming in towards the center. What can we do in terms of the center? Well, it is winter. So let's play with some of our glass millimeter balls. And I'm going to use the grape cluster approach. The grape cluster approach means I'm just taking a bunch of them. I've got it attached to a pick. Do be careful with these because they are glass. And because they're glass, they can shatter. And you don't want to handle them roughly. In other words, I'm taking these, but I'm being very careful because they're glass to show them the appropriate respect. And what I'm doing is I'm using grape clusters of my millimeter balls to create, in effect, what I would call a focal point to our design. And notice that gives us a lovely focal point. Now at this point, it's simply a matter of filling in. I'm going to take a little bit of my sheet moss and work it around. I'm attaching it using hairpins made with 20 wire so that this is going to give me a really nice effect. Is this something that is an everyday kind of thing? No, it's a little different look, and that's why I'm fascinated with it. I think that this stuff is really, really quite fun because it gives a different kind of look, and it's something that if you're a little adventurous and you're looking for a different look in your winter designing, I can see this stuff working very, very well for you. I'm taking some of these pieces of my sheet moss, I'm just working them in a little bit here and there in between my materials. I'm being very, very careful as I work it in, and then I'm holding it in place with some hairpins using 20 wire. What do you think, my viewer? It's an interesting approach, isn't it? Quick, easy, and fun. At Rittners Floral School, we believe very strongly that floral designing should be quick, easy, and fun. And I think you can see, my viewer, making use of the Winterberries. It didn't take much. It was pretty easy. A piece here, here, over here, some over here, doing a counterplay with some of our bells of Ireland, and then a few clusters of our millimeter balls in towards the center as a focal. And we've got ourselves here a really, really pretty and interesting and neat composition that can work very, very well for winter type designing. And I think, my viewer, you can see all kinds of possibilities in terms of variations on this are possible. Hey, I hope you've really enjoyed this. I sure as heck enjoyed presenting it to you. Go out, get some of this Winterberry stuff. Play with some of your other materials that we can get at this time of the year and see what you can come up with. Thank you for coming in and visiting us here at Rittners Floral School. On behalf of all of us here at Rittners, I'm Dr. Steve Rittner. We thank you for coming in and visiting with us today.